Tony, I'm not being the allegations anymore. I'm down bad, and we're back again with more Asian dating FMV games. I've got to. I'm a scholar. I've got to explore the genre.
You okay.
I forgot the fucking weird way this game started. This is Trilogy of the Moon. This is another Korean dating FMV, but it starts with like this weird, like almost AI generated looking like war scene with a guy's head getting chopped off. And I'm just like, how is this the start of my dating FMV game? Like, what the fuck is like? They literally like rip his head off. I'm just like, brother, what is the tone of this game?
You got the wrong game.
Yeah, how do I play this game? This you know what this almost looks like? This looks like a fucking like mobile ad. Trilogy of the Moon, install now on iOS and Android.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
So the quote-unquote plot of this game is that you are you're the reincarnation of an ancient emperor, and there's been these you have 999 concubines. I'm fairly sure that's the actual number of concubines you had. And let me see if I can double.
Number?
Yeah,
no one needs that many.
The emperor did. So... He needed that many concubines.
I don't know. I felt like it was just a number he was bragging about.
I'm reading the store page for the extra backstory. Apparently, you're the Korea's most renowned photographer. I mean, I guess that's
okay.
Immediately you're just the emperor to these girls, right?
Yeah.
And apparently the universe of this game is like tied to a different Asian FMV game that I've not played, so I was also very... If that helps you understand what's going on, then...
It's in the same cinematic universe.
Yeah, it's the same cinematic universe.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically, these concubines get teleported through time, and then you develop relationships with them, and then they're like, oh no, we're going to disappear, and you have to figure out a way to save them, basically, is the main thread or plot of the game, right? And you basically have to choose between three girls. I mean, statistically speaking, worse than 5 Hearts Under One Roof, because there's 2 less girls. There's 3 instead of 5.
Yeah, that's true.
But they
was it called Sausage Man in that one as well?
Yeah, there is like almost a Sausage Man character in your... I think he's like your uncle or something like that. And he appears as like a spirit above you in some like pretty funny scene. He like drinks beers with you, and he has some kind of funny scenes. But he doesn't have the charisma or the charisma of Sausage Man. I mean, the Sausage Man. If there was it was very lacking of a Sausage Man intro. Every time I play one of these games, Tony, I always say, every time I play one of these, it makes 5 Hearts Under One Roof look more and more like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And after playing these 2 games that I'm going to be talking about today, definitely the second game. Oh my god, it's so fucking bad. Definitely still makes it look like it's definitely the best I've played so far. So basically, they come to your world, right, and they kind of don't... It's kind of a fish out of water story where they don't really understand what's going on in the modern world. I mean, there's a scene where Heian gets stuck in a washing machine. She basically gets stuck in the washing machine because she thinks it's a toilet because she's from like 1,000 years ago, right? Or like, there's one of the girls which I think is like so based, Sukwon. She basically very quickly discovers what a computer is and immediately becomes addicted to League of Legends. Which is like, yeah, that's just that's the average Korean experience.
Yeah. Understandable.
But yeah, I would say like, the game overall is fairly short. It took me 3.5 hours to 100% complete the game, so that was getting all of the endings. Yeah, it's pretty short. I mean, the graphics of this game are pretty good. They did a very good job of the women,
the women are on point.
Usually with these games, right, you'll be like, oh, and you can get bonus photo shoot shots of some of the girls. You may want to get them, and you're like, yeah, whatever. Some of the photo shoot shots of Heian, I'm like, bro, can this even be on Steam? Like, it's that like risque. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you want to get your hands on these? You got to do the bonus content to get those. For the most part, there is different choices and there is different girls, right? But it feels very much like there's not too much pathing narratives in this game. You feel very much just like you're ending up at the same place, but through like a different route with a different girl, right?
I guess my question is, how many bad endings with funny endings are there? Secret endings, I guess. Secret bad ending.
Yeah, there is a couple of secret bad endings. I'm trying to remember some of them because it's been a while since I played it now. Oh, so here it is, Tony. This game shares the same universe with Eternal Kingdom and Curses of Love, also known as Eternal Rebirth Curses of Love. And I was like, okay, I'll look up this game on Steam. It doesn't exist on Steam. I think it's like only on Epic.
Epic, okay.
And I think sometimes these games go on Epic to get around censorship, maybe? I'm not sure. But yeah, I thought this game was pretty good. I mean, it's not too expensive. I think it was like £7 or something. But again, you know, you're basically paying for like a bunch of short interactive films put together. You know,
yeah, TV series or like something along those lines, right?
Yeah. I think with this game, I liked that you didn't have, if I'm remembering correctly, you didn't have to like specifically get enough love with each girl. You kind of just went through it, and it wasn't as hard as like Five Hearts Under One Roof, where you had to like, you wanted to choose a different story, but you need to make sure you farmed enough love in order to get enough affection to get through to the next stage, right? At the same time. Which I thought was pretty cool.
It was too difficult, you're saying. You wanted to have the easier.
This game?
No. I guess this game actually. Yeah, I guess this game compared to. Yeah, because like with the Five Hearts Under One Roof, I was like, you have to like go back and do like lots of different things just because like progress. If you want to like try a different path, right?
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of work to do.
But there's some stuff other like FMV games, like games do, where you have like little mini games and stuff like that. It definitely feels like, again, I think they kind of like, it feels very short. Like it feels like they could have added a little bit more in between and maybe added like more endings. But what you're getting here is like, it's fine for what it is. If you're looking for like a short little FMV game, oh, here's a scene where one of the characters is drinking out of a toilet because they think it's a well. I mean, it is very. If the idea of like three, concubines from like a ancient, almost like, it reminds me of a lot of like the Chinese era of like from like the Apothecary Diaries, where you have like eunuchs and the emperor with 999 concubines, right?
Yeah, I think it's similar thing for sure.
But if it sounds interesting to you and you want to spend a little bit of money,
I think
playing a fairly decent FMV game, then you should definitely check it out. Oh, not the teeth brushing scene,
가만히 있어. 양치시켜줄게.
Wait, you're gonna do?
You've got to show her. She's never brushed her teeth before.
Yeah, I know, but just have a go now. Copy me.
This is the kind of content you can get in this game, Trilogy of the Main. I mean, it's a pretty average game. It's pretty decent, right? It's not bad, but it's just a little short, and it could have had a little bit more to it, right? Is my only sort of criticism of this game. Yeah, but I would still, recommend it if you're a fan of the genre, like me,
As a connoisseur of the genre.
As a connoisseur of the genre,
yeah.
And it's another one of the Korean FMV games because there's tons of Chinese and there's no Japanese until now, Tony.
Okay.
Oh God, we have Back from the Other World, I Miss Love, and this may be not just the worst FMV game I've ever played, but maybe also the worst game I've ever played. I can't understate how confusing and nonsense like the story is, how bad the mechanics are, like it feels like they spent the entire budget of this game on the cast, because you have like famous Japanese actresses. You have like Ayahara and Yumiha and Saika Kawakita. Like these are your big like Japanese actresses, right? And then they kind of it felt like they went, and here's two Taiwanese women. Like they're not like, I looked up some of the other girls and they're like, oh, she was in like a group that dances at baseball games, and there's someone I don't think who's acted before plays another one of the roles. So it feels like they kind of were like padded it out a bit, but it feels like the big name actresses, they probably had the heftiest budget, right, for the show, and it fucking shows. Like, I'm gonna try and explain what I understand of the plot to you, but that would be fucking generous calling it a plot.
I watched a little bit of this, so I was very confused.
You have to work your way up like this business, right? But you're from another world, so you were like a mage, like a someone who can cast spells in the other world, and like, yeah, you beat the Dark Lord in the other world, and then like later in the fucking game, like the evil woman comes back into it and she's from another world. So there is like these CGI animation things they do with spells, and it's like, oh man, that could have been really interesting if they could have been bothered to animate them. Because like every choice you make in this game is, here's the correct choice which pushes the story forward, and here's the incorrect choice that could go to a funny cutscene but it doesn't do anything. So I was like, okay, I'll choose the incorrect choice. Every single fucking incorrect choice they couldn't be bothered to shoot scenes for. So it fades to a black screen and it just says, lol, it's like you shoot a fireball, and it's like it fades to a black screen and it goes, the fireball set you on fire, you died, the end. Every single one. There is no choices in this game. Every single thing pushes forward the quote-unquote narrative of this game. It is so fucking confusing and inconsequential to the actual overarching story. And when they have these scenes on, they make you click these love heart things constantly for no reason. They just kind of slowly engagement. Raise your like affection stuff. And sometimes, so I'm like, okay, I'll click on all the love hearts. And then as I'm clicking on the love hearts, I click on a character's breast, and it's like, hey, you tried to touch my breasts. I'm calling the police. And I'm like, I was just clicking the love hearts. I thought I was supposed to, because they specifically keep you
arrested.
Yeah, because they specifically get you to keep clicking on these little icons on the screen, and then they're like, "Oh, you were doing something you shouldn't have been doing." I was like, "Bro, I'm just trying to play the fucking game." The shit cherry on the shit cake of a game is the gameplay mechanic. At the end of every single section is there's a timed sliding box puzzle that you have to complete to continue. I fucking hate sliding box puzzles. And it is not only do you have to complete this, but it's timed. So if you don't do it in time, you have to do it again. Oh my fucking god. This game is so fucking bad. I completed the game in like 2 hours, and I was like, I am not going back at 100% in this game. I want to fucking refund this game. This game is so fucking bad. I read the reviews before I played this game, and they said, hey, I read the reviews that said this is a bad game. And I said, maybe it's a bad game for other people, and, I'll go into it and play it, and maybe I can get some fun out of it. And I went and I played it, and it's fucking awful. Maybe I should have trusted the reviews. And I read that, and I said, yeah, I can go into this, and I can play this, and maybe it's a game for me. I don't need to trust the Steam reviews, and let me tell you, do not play this fucking game. It is so bad. I think the only positive thing I can say about this game is that I was streaming this on Discord, and some of my friends were like, let me look up some of the actresses in this game and see what else other films they've been in. They were like, oh, these are pretty interesting. And I'm like, yep. You may or may not recognize some of the women in this film. Like, it's the cast is the one like positive thing about it, because it's clearly where they spent the budget. But even then, like, they're just they have nothing to work with in this fucking game, if you could call it that. I was so excited to try, because like Japan is known for being like the country that makes FMV games, right? But they normally do it with, like, anime characters, right? In terms of like sorry, not FMVs, but visual novel games, right?
Yeah.
Because these FMV games have very similar gameplay to a lot of these. I was like, oh, okay, they should be able to make, you know, like decent you know, visual novel style games with FMV style cutscenes. That would be interesting to see. And it turns out the first one I've played is fucking awful, and I was excited. I'm looking forward to it, but I can say now, do not play this game, and trust me, do not ignore my warning. You know,
Yeah.
just trust me.
As a connoisseur, you would know.
You would get more enjoyment by looking up. I was going to say you get more enjoyment by looking up the cutscenes on YouTube, but even then, you get more enjoyment by looking up these women off YouTube. This is inconsequential. Like this is literally a waste of time, and I do not recommend it. And that is my thoughts on Back from the Other World I Miss Love, which is a title that makes just no fucking sense.
It's a mouthful. It really is.
But yeah, Tony. Fucking hell. Yeah, I just 5 Hearts Under One Roof, just the undefeated masterpiece of Asian dating FMVs. And,
I was just saying, can you give another game that you think is worse? But I feel like maybe an unfair thing to put in a video.
No, off the top of my head, I can't think of a game that's worse than this.
Okay.
But we'll see you next time.
That's pretty low bar. Bye.